Hi, this is the Zaleski Sports Show, and I'm your host, Rachel Zaleski. Today, we're going to be discussing the NFL, the Milwaukee Brewers, college and high school football, including our game of the week. So joining us now is Jason Zaleski, our sports expert, and Malachi, our
Hello.
fantasy football expert. Sweet.
Yeah, welcome. Glad you're back.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And we won't really go too much in depth on fantasy right now. But first, we will go ahead and kind of just move into the NFL. So, Jason, this is week 3 we just completed.
We just finished up week 3.
How's that going?
Well, things are going well. We've learned a little more than we did in week 2 and more than we knew in week 1. And Rachel, we've talked about that. Each week now, we'll learn more and more as we trend towards week 6. And week 6 is my threshold for saying that at that point, we'll know who's who and what's what. So we're halfway there. We're halfway to knowing anything. Right now, we don't know much. We are having fun watching. We will have the updated standings here. We'll just kind of take a peek at them. We were kind of talking about these ahead of time. And Malachi, you even made, I think, a good comment that it's unusual, some of these teams at the top,
Yes.
to see some of those things. I mean, the Los Angeles Rams, I mean, they relocate, and they're 2-1 on the year, and they're already talking trash about the Cowboys. Todd Gurley said we're going to whoop up on the Cowboys after their win on Thursday. So,
I will say right there, the NFC North division, that looks real pretty, folks, real pretty.
Well, Rachel, enjoy it for now. Like you said, we're halfway to knowing something. So
Case
right
Keenum
now,
was throwing that ball. That was wonderful.
Right now, Case had a real nice game. There's no doubt about that. So those are the updated standings right now. I won't go into it more than that. We had a couple surprises, Malachi, during the NFL weekend. One that I'll ask you about, if you saw coming, was the Oakland Raiders, who were what I thought one of the better teams last year, and certainly looked the part this year, going 2-0 and then going to Washington and getting crushed.
Well, they were supposed to be one of the favorites to win the AFC West. They're right up there with Denver. They're supposed to be better than Kansas City, who is usually a wild card team. And they were having a good year. Crabtree already had 3 touchdowns. Derek Carr was coming into his own, and they laid an egg, basically.
The golden egg.
Yeah. Well, I would say that was more of a brown egg. So the other somewhat of a surprise of the week, the Cincinnati Bengals hadn't scored a touchdown all year, playing both of their games at home, and they took the heavily favored, 9-point favored Green Bay Packers to overtime. I thought that was a little surprising. Bengals got the ball first. They won the flip. They received the ball. They went 3 and out promptly. The Packer defense was certainly inspired and rallied to the ball, all 3 of those downs. And then the Packers marched right down the field just a couple minutes later for the game-winning field goal. So I don't know what that says about either team, but maybe the Bengals perked up a little bit, and maybe the Packers have to perk up a little bit more. So there you go, Rachel. NFL update.
Okay. Then let's just move on right into the regional sports. Tell me all that you know about the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, all right.
How are they looking?
We're moving right on to the baseball. So for the last few weeks, we've been talking about Plan A.
Okay.
There was a Plan B. We were talking about Plan A, which was winning the NL Central. Plan A, gone, out the window, done. The Cubs need to win one more game of their next 5 to win the division. That's going to happen. So Cubs, NL Central champs, congratulations. Brewers, Plan B. And Plan B was wild card. Now, they've had some favors done to them. Even though the Brewers are 5-5 during their last 10 games, the Rockies are even worse than that. So the Brewers now with Plan B, which is getting the wild card spot, are 1 game behind the Rockies. The Brewers have 5 games left to play, and the Rockies have 6 games left to play. The Milwaukee Brewers need to win 1 more game than the Rockies do during that to have a 1-game playoff to see who will be the wild card team, or win 2 more games than the Rockies, and then the Brewers are in the playoffs as that wild card. So we'll see what happens. I think the Brewers should be favored in those games. I know they do have 2, Malachi, against the Cardinals to finish up the year. Even if they split those 2, I still think the Brewers are in pretty good shape. And with the Rockies not playing very good baseball right now, Brewers might be, for Plan B, in the right spot.
Yeah, I would agree. The Rockies also have to play 4 games against the Dodgers to end the year as well, which should help the Brewers.
Yeah, should. So we've got just a week left of baseball. which is okay in a couple ways. We get to talk about the World Series soon, and then we can be done talking about baseball.
Just tell me how you really feel. Goodness. So moving on to local sports, Jason and I, the Zaleski Sports Show, traveled to Stevens Point to watch the Pointers defeat the Adrian College Bulldogs 41-28. So let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome to the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House, sponsored by Ho Chunk Gaming Nakusa. Ho Chunk Gaming, located just south of Nakusa on Highway G. Ho Chunk Gaming, experience the difference. Let's send it down to Jason for post-game thoughts with Pointers head coach Tom Jernell.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Yes, we are here with Coach Tom Jernell after a 41-28 victory today. Congratulations there, first off. So we'll start with good news. We've got other news, but we'll start with good news on the game, 41-28. Your thoughts?
Yeah, a total team effort. We really executed well offensively, defensively, kicking game. So many guys contributed in a really hot game, and we needed that. So we're really deep as a team. It's always nice when you get a lot of guys that contribute. It only helps for morale. I thought our offense played exceptionally well in the second half, just controlling the clock and wearing out Adrian, a good football team. Matt Urmansky, coming in for Ryan Swigert, which we're saddened about because he broke his clavicle last year on this field out for the year, and so he broke his tibia and fibula. So, senior captain having a great year, and unfortunately those things happen, but we'll go through adversity, and we always strive to get better through adversity. So, but overall, really, really happy how we performed and kept our composure and played pretty well.
Coach, you mentioned the other news. Ryan Swigert now out for the year. People like you and I have been in sports our whole lives. We've heard it forever. Next man up. Matt Urmansky, next man up. How do you do?
Yeah, I did really well. He's been playing the last 2 weeks, and he's earned that opportunity. And you just never know, when you're going to need your backup or your third or your fourth team quarterback. So we've been getting him ready, for opportunities. So it wasn't his first time in. So he's an Edgar guy. Jerry Sins just had his 400th win, last Friday. So that's all you really need to say. He's a leader. He's a competitor. He prepares, really well. He's a 4.0 student. He's a great citizen, and he's a great, leader. He's a follow me now type of guy. So. And in a team sport, you talk about next man up, and we talk about other guys on the team. Score was stagnant after halftime until the first minute in the fourth quarter. You were 28-21 for what seemed like the longest time, and there's that man Jerry Williams on the tip drill pulling the rest of his team up. Just having a phenomenal year. He's hard to. He's a hard guy to cover, and he's an explosive guy. He's a 12-time All-American in track, and they better double team him like they did today most of the day.
All right, Rachel. Pointers win tonight, 41-28. Matt Urmansky is up next in the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House. All right, we are here with today's quarterback, Matt Urmansky. Certainly it wasn't planned to be that way. Matt, all the practice, all the film, all the prep, was all that worth it, not knowing you were going in the game today?
Yeah, me and Swag, or the starter, we have a pretty good relationship. We've been working together, kind of quizzing each other throughout the week. So, obviously that's terrible, and we're going to go see Swag tonight. But yeah, I'm glad I was preparing with him, and so I was ready for today.
And then ready for the rest of the year, because it looks like he's probably done for the year. 4 touchdowns today. Now we've got conference play going ahead. How will your prep be different now, going conference and being the starter?
The prep won't be really that much different. Like, if you're the backup, you have to prepare as like you're the starter. As for conference play, being 3-0 right now doesn't mean a thing. It's the real season starts next week against La Crosse, so trying to focus up. The prep starts tonight. So,
your alma mater, Edgar, 6-0 on the year, 242-0 is their score margin so far this year. Beating Loyal 35-0 last night. Any message that we can send back to Carson Butt and the rest of the Wildcats for success on their year?
Keep rolling. If you have that coaching staff, it's definitely an honor playing for those guys in that program. You don't realize how lucky you are to play in Edgar until it's over. So enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Rachel, so that'll do it from down here. 41-28. Back to you.
That was our sports expert, Jason Zaleski. Thank you to our sponsor, Ho Chunk Gaming Nakusa. Ho Chunk Gaming, located just south of Nakusa on Highway G. Ho Chunk Gaming, experience the difference. This is the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House.
I'm in the house.
So this Saturday, September 30th, we'll see a big matchup between the UW Lacrosse Falcons versus UWEC Blue Golds. So the Blue Golds will be celebrating their homecoming this weekend. My daughter is also there celebrating her homecoming. So Jason, where can people watch and find out more about our WIAC schedule?
Our WIAC schedule is on our website, ZaleskiSportsShow.com, and just click on the WIAC menu button right on top. It'll take you to that schedule, where you will find out, yes, Rachel, correct, the UW Blue Golds versus the Lacrosse Eagles. So you had birds right. They are indeed the Eagles. So
are they?
Yeah, we'll see. Eagles are favored in that game for sure. Lacrosse has certainly been the cream of the crop in the WIAC for a while, although things are different right now. We were just at Stevens Point, and the Pointers might have something cooking over there too. So we'll see what happens. Whitewater, Platteville, some of the other teams. Stout's having a nice year. I know we've got a Blue Devil on the set
Devils.
here. So we've got a lot to shake out. Conference play starts on Saturday.
Perfect. So moving on to Sports 101. There's a lot of things I learned. I think I'm at that novice level of sports and slowly working my way up. But there are even terms that other people below me that don't even know. So Jason, can you explain to us with football, what does the red zone mean?
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the red zone. Let's first talk about novice. What's the level below that?
Fundamentals, infantile,
Okay,
I don't know.
All right, okay.
Take a pick.
We'll send your certificate in the mail for reaching novice.
Thank you.
That'll be out soon.
I'll be happy to take it.
Good. All right, so the red zone, it's a football term. Usually it means when a team's offense has reached the opponent's 20-yard line, and then they're in that red zone. They're in that scoring zone, and that's where things really ramp up. For the offense, they've only got 20 yards left to score. For the defense, they get a 12th defender, which is the back of the end zone. So that playing field shrinks up a little bit, and it's the red zone. Some teams have called it the green zone, the go zone, whatever. Those are motivational things for those players, Rachel. Generally speaking, that red zone is when you're within the 20. And for fantasy football, Malachi, things heat up for fantasy football owners when their teams are in the red zone. Absolutely.
That's my favorite time. I mean, my team hasn't been there a lot this year, but, there's still 10 weeks left. So.
We'll get to that shortly. But, Rachel, that's the red zone.
Thank you. So moving on to high school sports, the Zaleski Sports Show game of the week was the Edgar Wildcats shutting out the Loyal Greyhounds, 35-0. So the highlight house player of the week was Carson Butt. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Welcome to the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House, sponsored by V&H Automotive in Marshfield. V&H Automotive, a short drive from anywhere just north of Marshfield on Highway 97. Let's send it down to Jason for post-game thoughts with Wildcats head coach Jerry Sims.
Yes, thanks, Rachel. We are here with Coach Sims. Edgar Wildcats victorious tonight, 35-0 over the Loyal Greyhounds. Coach, let's talk about zeros. We got all zeros this year. How do you account for that?
Well, we had a pretty good defense a year ago, and we do have 8 guys returning this year, so we only have 3 other guys in there. All 3 guys that have taken over have played extremely well, too. And particularly our defensive line is strong. Most of those guys are 3-year starters and all seniors. And our linebackers are playing really well, too. So, yeah, overall, we've just played really good defense. We haven't had any breakdowns, mental breakdowns or anything all year so far. So, we're happy about that.
Yeah, the shutout streak is alive in 2017, 6 games into the season now. Even in the fourth quarter, Coach, defense still playing hard. Fumble recovered at the 8-minute mark. Fumble recovered at the 3-minute mark. Just talk about their intensity the whole game.
Yeah, I think the kids, they set a goal at the beginning of the year. They wanted to have 8 shutouts or more. We've had that, a few times. And, of course, back in 2009, I think we had 11. And the 3 teams we allowed it was just 1 touchdown to 3 different teams in the fourth quarter of some games in the playoffs. So these guys want to kind of put their mark on the defense like some of those other teams, and so far they've done a good job of it. Right.
Carson Butts today, 8 for 9, 2 touchdowns. What'd you think of his performance?
He's been playing very well. I mean, he had a game here a couple weeks ago where he was 6 for 6. I believe it was up at Tomahawk, 6 for 6 for about 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. And so he's completing a high percentage of his passes. Plays excellent defense, too, and just an all-around good player for us.
All right, Rachel, that's it from down here. We'll talk to player of the game, Carson Butt, right now. All right, we are here with Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House Player of the Game, Carson Butt. Carson today, 7 for 8, 2 touchdowns. Both of them went to Brock Hendrick. Was that on purpose?
No, I just tried to find the open guy, and he was the open guy today.
Talk about the offensive line, giving you time, and then giving the running attack enough room for 118 yards in the first half.
Oh yeah, the offensive line did great tonight. They always do good. I probably wouldn't be as successful as I would be without those guys, so it's a good thanks to those guys.
Sure. A couple runs for you to account for, too. You enjoy running a little more?
I like to switch it up. I don't like to just be good at one thing. I like to switch it around, and coaches know the versatility I can do, and it's fun doing both.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, that's Carson Butt, our Highlight House Player of the Game. Back to you.
That was our sports expert, Jason Zaleski. Thank you to our sponsor, V&H Automotive in Marshfield. V&H Automotive, a short drive from anywhere just north of Marshfield on Highway 97. This is the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House.
I'm in the house!
The Zaleski Sports Show also traveled to Colby this past week to watch the Columbus Dons shut out the Colby Hornets 3-0. And the Highlight House Player of the night, and for that game, was Kate Turchie. So let's go ahead and see that highlight. Welcome to the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House, sponsored by V&H Automotive in Marshfield. V&H Automotive, a short drive from anywhere just north of Marshfield on Highway 97. Let's send it to Jason for post-game thoughts with Coach Cat Eagle.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Yes, we just got done watching Columbus Catholic defeat the Colby Hornets 3-0 in straight sets, 25-10, 26-24, 27-25. We're here with Coach Cat Eagle. Coach, congratulations on the big win today. Did it go as you had planned?
Yes, the girls have been practicing really hard all week, and we've been going through lots of digging drills and passing drills and getting our defense and our digging up there, and it really came out tonight. And then we were able to run our quick offense, which really helped. Yeah,
and certainly you had a quick offense. Second set, we'll fast forward to that. Some back and forth action. Colby actually had game point. Annie Byro got the serve, got you back to even, and then to game point, and then Kate Turchie with the kill. Talk about that whole sequence.
Oh my gosh, it was so exciting. So like right at that last point, that both teams were, you could tell, were just nervous, and they were tipping and just trying to, make that easy play. And I hear them screaming at the team like, "Just crush it, hit the ball," So to finally get that kill right on a big hit was amazing to end it big like that.
And then more back and forth action in the third set. You were down 17-14. You called the timeout. We got back to even at 17-17, and then it was just back and forth, tick and tag, back and forth. And then we had serve, and then Annie Viral got you ahead, and then just talk about that forever game point.
Again, I think I was yelling the same thing. Just hit the ball. It was like a tip game, back and forth, and they ended on a tip, and I just had to laugh because I was trying to tell them to hit the ball instead of tip it. But our digging was great. Our communication was great. These girls are really close, and Colby was a great team. They were digging up everything and bringing the ball right back. So this was a really fun match to coach, to watch, and be there.
All right, good. Yeah, it was a fun match for everybody. Where can everybody watch you next?
We're in Greenwood next Tuesday at home, at Columbus Catholic.
All right, we are here with Zaleski Highlight House Player of the Game, Kate Turchie. Kate, congratulations on the win tonight. 14 kills, an ace, and a block to go with it. What did you see from the other girls tonight?
I think everyone did really well. There was a lot of hitting, a lot of good passes, right up to the center, and Brooke did a great job.
We talked to Coach Eagle about that last game point that just went on forever. What did you see while all that was going on?
There was a lot of tipping. We need to just hit the ball.
Yeah, okay. Game out with the win, though. 27-25. You got what you needed, and now you're on to the home game on Tuesday.
Yep.
Right, okay. Rachel, that's it from down here. Back to you.
That was our sports expert, Jason Zaleski. Thank you to our sponsor, V&H Automotive. V&H Automotive, a short drive from anywhere just north of Marshfield on Highway 97. This is the Zaleski Sports Show Highlight House.
I'm in the house.
In since you all loved such great coverage we had on that volleyball game, we thought let's go ahead and cover another volleyball match this week. So this Thursday, the 28th, the Tigers are taking on Wausau West for volleyball. So that game is scheduled to start at 7 p.m. and we will be there.
Yeah, there you go. Pass to the middle. Rachel
Bumps to the
sets.
center.
Malachi spikes. Boom! That's how it works.
That's how it goes. So moving on to fantasy football. So my team this week, what was mine? The Shake and Bake team?
That's what you call it.
That's my Shake and Bake team, yes. We are now 1-3, which means I have lost 2 of my 3 weeks, which, that's unfortunate. I did get a late trade offer just this morning, and I have denied that. The individual wanted my Kareem Hunt for a couple Vikings, and although that sounded nice to have a couple Vikings, I'm not giving up Kareem Hunt.
You're selfish about Kareem.
I'm very selfish.
Yeah. Well, let's just start talking about that then. Surprise players, fantasy-wise, Kareem Hunt, Malachi?
They thought he'd be good. Whether or not they thought he'd be this good, he's the top fantasy scorer on all of ESPN leagues right now. He has 6 total touchdowns, I believe, 4 rushing, 2 receiving. He's leading the league in rushing yards. He is set to pass Ezekiel Elliott's rushing mark from last year.
Nice.
Somebody
Caliente.
break his leg then.
Pretty hot.
That's what I know.
You watch your mouth over there.
So Toledo Rocket, Kareem Hunt, obviously living up to his expectations. Who may not be living up to expectations right now?
Technically, you could say Aaron Rodgers in a way, because he has thrown 3 interceptions, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Other options would be the Packers receiving core as a whole. But granted, you are spreading the ball out through 4 different receivers there. Le'Veon Bell has had a slow start to the year. Ezekiel Elliott had a bad game too, but he had a great night last night. So there's a number of players who aren't doing what they usually do week in and week out.
And that, I think, is normal in each fantasy football season. Players that were good last year, different things happen, maybe a different team, something has happened. So fantasy owners need to adjust. What adjustments, Malachi, would you recommend folks looking for, just in general, as we head into week 4 of the NFL season?
Well, at this point in the year, you start to see teams who have been going with 2 or 3 running backs look to kind of have one who's taking over more than the others. Dalvin Cook in Minnesota has kind of taken over as the number 1.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yes,
yeah.
He's having a pretty good year. You have Jordan Howard for Chicago, who's kind of taken over the number 1 spot, and he had a great week. So just kind of finding which running backs are breaking out into that role.
Sure. Okay. Now, bye weeks will start happening here in a couple weeks. What should fantasy owners be looking for as far as making those switches? So I've got 1 kicker, I've got 1 defense, or I've got 3 receivers I really like, but 2 of them are going on bye. How do you manage through those bye weeks?
That is where the strategy kind of gets difficult. I've started to look ahead as to who I need to substitute, especially for my defense, because I only have 1. Granted, my defense isn't doing much anyway, so I don't think it'll matter. But
I don't think you're the only one that has that.
Yeah.
So in those cases with defense, if your defense is middle of the pack, you would even recommend just dropping that defense, picking up another one. Maybe that one catches fire anyway.
Yeah.
And I tried that technique this past week, and it didn't really do me
Tried
good.
it a little too soon.
Yeah, a little too soon.
Okay, and then just back to the, you got that bunch of receivers that you really like playing. So you start 2, you flex the other one, 2 of them go on by that same week. Do you just attempt just to make it by with a couple scrubs, or would you sometimes think about releasing one of those good ones?
I would not release any of my top receivers. I'd try to get by with maybe a team's 2nd or 3rd option at receiver. There have been a lot of teams this year. Minnesota has Thielen and Diggs, who are both producing at high levels. Green Bay has their 4 receivers, who any of them can get you anywhere from 7 to 12 points a game. You have a lot of situations like that around the league now where quarterbacks are spreading the ball out to multiple receivers, so there's still options available.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, that's good advice, Malachi, and thanks for being here to bring it to us. As we go through the Zaleski Sports Show Fantasy League standings, we'll start in the East. Team Megahertz and First Your Last, both 2-1. Tiger Snooze, 1-2, so I'm firmly in 3rd place. And then Avengers and Big Ballers yet to find the win column. They're both 0-3. Sorry, Malachi.
That's fine.
And
I'll win
Trevor.
this week.
That's right.
He's planning on
Positive
winning
thinking.
this week as the Avengers take on Tiger Snooze. In the West, boy, we've got a couple overachievers, I would say for sure. Brianna Made Me Drew and Steven Has No Name, both undefeated at 3-0.
Didn't Brianna like really whoop up on you this
Brianna
week?
beat me really bad.
Whoa, like a really
And-
big spanking.
And I did not enjoy it.
No.
She did the
No.
same week
He
one.
actually shed a tear. That's a shame. That's the first time in my house.
Team Fun with Wine, 2-1, and then bringing up the rear in the West, Joe Buck Sucks, 1-2, and Rachel's Shake and Bake, 1-2. Rachel, you need to get back on the win column.
Shake and bake is not working this week.
No, it's more like duck and cover.
It's like slowly, what's that little Sally homemaker oven? It's not baking anything in there.
Not baking anything, so let's bake our way out of here.
All right. So thank you so much for watching. This is the Zaleski Sports Show. I'm Rachel. This is Malachi and Jason. You can follow us on Zaleski Sports Show on Facebook. And you can also go to Twitter and find us at Zaleski Sports. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your week.
Go Sports!
Take a look at that. Nice wiggly.
See ya.